me crazy, 'cause I am.
Hey guys, we're here with the legendary Storm Large. And I say legendary. She's done everything from music videos, HBO, ESPN. She's performed on Rockstar Supernova with Dave Navarro, everything. She has such a distinguished career. And she's laughing, but it's true. I love it. I love it. You started when you were 5 years old writing songs and singing, correct?
I was always singing and telling stories, but I remember the very first song I wrote was a Snickers bar jingle. It fills you up when you're feeling down. It's a Snickers bar, Snickers bar, Snickers bar.
Who are your biggest influences when you were, I guess, growing up and you started to maybe start to write and start to sing?
My first favorite record when I was little, there was a few. We had an 8-track tape player. Yes, I'm that old. But when I was really little, my dad had an 8-track. And we had Jesus Christ Superstar and John Denver and Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison. And then when I figured out how to use the record player, it was my brother's record, The Kinks, Give the People What They Want, and the Beatles, Abbey Road, and Harry Belafonte with Miriam Makeba, who Miriam Makeba's album is called Africa, and it's still one of my favorite records of all time. She's an incredible South African vocalist. I think she's passed on now. But she really hit me with, wow, you can use your voice in so many interesting ways. Granted, she's African and speaking several different languages, but it was just such a different color and shape. Harry Belafonte is just, you just want to have sex with that sound. And the Beatles for harmonies, really. I learned about harmonies through the Beatles, just over and over, listening to it and trying to sing each part and sing the guitar parts. And just it trained my ear. Listening and singing along trained my ear. And so those were probably my earliest influences, I would guess, musically. But in terms of nowadays, I'm influenced by everything. By stuff that makes me mad, stuff that makes me happy, stuff that the weather today, you know, your jacket and tie, the fact that you were up all night and yet you're coming here dressed all nicely and you fell asleep on some dude and you shared that story and that inspires me. That's like, oh, that's awesome. I want to write a story about that. Like falling asleep and then you wake up and you're in another town and the guy is like changed into a thing and I don't know.
It'll be a hit. Your dad was a teacher.
Yes.
So I'm assuming when you went to college and you decided to go to the American Music and Dramatic Academy in New York, how was your family's feelings about pursuing that? Because sometimes families can be kind of rocky because it is a hard road to take.
Yeah. Well, I had a very interesting childhood, not a lot of supervision, and my father is still a teacher. This is his last year teaching history, and he was happy that I was going to school and not running away to join the circus. So any kind of structure that I voluntarily took on myself was celebrated by my father. So he was fine, you know. Growing up in Massachusetts, in rural Massachusetts, if you're a good singer, well, that's great, but what are you going to do for work? You know, you're funny, but what are you going to do for work? You know, what's your skill? You better get good at math. You better learn how to type, you know. You should lose weight so you can meet a man and blah, 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 that kind of thing. And I go, you're absolutely right. And so, you know, I couldn't do that. So I just, you know, I went to school and learned that I was a better musician than an actor pretty quickly. No diss to actors. I mean, acting is really intense, you know, to voluntarily feel some pretty horrible things. I'm like, you know what? I've actually felt really horrible things. I don't want to do that, you know.
You tend to you can do that through music too, and it's really just finding your niche, I think, and the emotionality that kind of comes out of your songs. I think that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, and in every song, it's like a mini movie. It's like one story in a song. and I can have the tension and then the catharsis and then the relief, or maybe you don't get resolved, but it's short. It's 3 minutes. And in that 3 minutes, I could have lived and died and loved and hated and then be done with it. And everybody's like, yeah, I love you. I'm like, woo, I rule. It's a lot easier. It's easier for me.
by millions of friends. And if I disappeared, they'd gather